Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome to the discussion for Mythic Mischief. Which, this was a game that you and I actually had played at Gen Con.
We did.
They had a really cool booth set up. Well, not this Gen Con, 2 Gen Cons ago.
I know I saw them this week.
They were there. Yeah, but the time we demoed it, they had their booth like a school. If you remember, it was like they had it decorated out. So they went all in because I remember the Kickstarter for this. You can get like a backpack. And like a bunch of like school accessories.
Oh yeah, ridiculous.
But so they really went all in on the theme. I think it's very adorable. But this game, especially because at Gen Con, it was kind of like we were constantly asking them rules, and they were so distracted that we couldn't really get into it. Mm-hmm. I think this game is really, really good. Especially for an abstract strategy game with asymmetric powers.
Right. Like, it definitely has the, what was that game you showed me that one time? It was like some chess-esque.
Oh, Onitama?
Yeah. It reminds me of that, just essentially the movement, the trying, it's, trying to think logically, what are my abilities? How do I move people?
Yeah. What are my opponent's abilities? How can I try and
like you can see what you are capable of, know what is going on. Very, very thinky.
Yeah. It's, so there's 2 phases to the game. There's a before lunch and after lunch. And the before lunch, because the Tomb Keeper can move so much, like, I feel like the before lunch is almost always, unless the players are dictating it and really drawing him to make him go around, I feel like the before lunch is really just kind of like your extended setup. Mm-hmm. It's you quickly trying to get as many tombs as you can to be able to level up your board. Mm-hmm.
We only had 2-something points in the first round, and then we fucking cranked it up in the second round.
It's very interesting that you mentioned that, because I was sitting here and I'm like, do we get points somewhere else?
Right.
Like, we're at 2. This is really, so how does anyone get to 10? And then, we're at 7 by the end of it, and it's, there's just so much that I feel that actually goes into this that when you're in the after lunch section, it like almost comes to a screeching halt, but in a good way. I think there's a lot of games that we play.
Because by then we have leveled up our abilities and we have a lot more to think about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and because some games it's a bad thing where the game comes to a halt and you're just like, can this fucking end? Mm-hmm. I didn't feel that with this. It was more of just, okay,
what am I doing?
What did he just do? Because there were so many times where I'm like, I think I'm safe, and then you would just pop me into places I'm like, son of a bitch. Like I was for sure, like I completely forgot about the distractibility, that I was like, yeah, he's just gonna pop into the clutter space and then pop one out. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, so that's just gonna be a moot Tomb Keeper turn. You're like, oh, I'll distract him into there, and then I'll move you, and that's 2 points, and it's like, oh fuck. Because it's like the trade of 1 for 1 is it's pretty easy. It's like, yeah, I can get 1. Like that was before lunch. It was like, okay, I got 1, you got 1, I got 1, you got 1, okay. And then, but when you pop 2, did you spit on it? But when you get 2, then it's like, oh shit. How am I gonna get 2? And with your witch ability being able to lock a person down, that effectively means I can only get 2. Mm-hmm. Unless I can do some way of having
moving
the Tomb
territory,
Keeper and have the Tomb Keeper go onto your enchantment spot.
Mm-hmm. There's plenty of times I too thought I was like, there's no way he's gonna get me here.
I had to do some weird shifting.
Like, I'm behind 2 whole bookshelves.
Right. And then the zigzag, the warping.
It's almost like being diagonal is a stronger position to be in, because then as long as one of the bookshelves is out of the way, they're within line of sight.
Yeah, the bookshelves are extremely interesting because, well, one, it's very fascinating because they have 3 suggested setups for how the clutter and the bookshelves start, but you can draft. Like, everyone gets, I think everyone gets 4 clutter tokens. No, sorry. Everyone gets 2 clutter tokens and then 10 bookshelves, and then you decide, so you can build out your own library.
Okay.
But the very first one, I think I had it set up like so. Yeah, because the clutter never moved except for one of them. You ended up moving one. But it just looks so radically different just from massive abilities to constantly move them.
Yeah.
I feel like the bookshelves are more to alternate the Tomb Keeper than to really affect another player. Every once in a while, they kind of came into play where it's like, okay, yeah, I have to make sure I manifest, or I have to make sure I shift it out of the way to be able to do that. But, well, that's so easy to do, and I can do it, so it really is not really a hindrance. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think the bookshelves actually come into play against player interaction, or you think it's? I really just
Well,
think it's more,
it creates another step.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't do too much protecting.
How did you do that? How did you gleek?
Well, I didn't gleek. I was taking a drink. You made me chortle while I was drinking.
Gotcha.
And I kind of spritzed a little. But anyway, what were we talking about? The bookshelves. I felt, they're definitely necessary in this game.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Absolutely. Just hindering our general movement and giving you an extra layer of thought.
Yeah. Same with
hindering the Tomb Keeper as well.
Yeah.
But between us, like I said, just an extra step.
Yeah.
So the line of sight. So it is definitely clear if there's only one bookshelf in the way. So to clarify, I know we played it that way the whole game.
What do you mean?
So like these two. So they are within line of sight of each other with just one.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So that makes being diagonal a little more powerful, I feel.
Yeah, because neighboring is diagonal and orthogonal.
Right.
Versus just general movement is. And this is definitely one of those games that and that's usually the case with abstract strategy games, which this definitely is, just with a pretty fun theme. It becomes less about the game and more how you're going to play against another player. Because I guarantee you, if a lot of people have this, there are people who are just using these portals like a champ, using the wizards or the witches or whoever, way better than we did. Because I didn't even use my portals, and that could have just been situational, where it's I just never had to because of just the way the board layout came out.
Yeah.
God, yeah, and I really think that this game is insanely balanced. Just think about it. You had 7 tombs, and I had 5, and it still ended up being a tie. And I get that's why that's the tiebreaker, because more tombs and theoretically means you should be able to do more on your turn.
Right.
Which I guess I like that, mainly because the way that the after lunch started, you got a free tomb. Not that they're hard for me to get; they're pretty much insanely easy unless someone locks it down. Kind of like you locked this one down the whole game.
Yeah.
It's well, I don't really see that's worth it to go out and get. It's I'd really like it.
With the boosting ability, that has a nice in between. Nice, you still get amplified for your turn in a way that you can strategically use.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Interesting mechanic, I thought. So when we get 8 up and whatnot, and we're off the board, and it's okay, and then you're okay, I should be safe. I am well guarded. It's okay, and then they spawn in. It's I'm right next to you, and you're over there now.
Yeah.
So it's okay, when I'm placing.
Yeah.
How do I fuck you? Or I'm when I'm ending my turn, and I got 2 of you consumed, captured. I'm just eating you. I'm okay, where is he? Can he go?
Yeah.
Can I put myself on a space to inhibit that?
Right. Because you're also not thinking about what you can do on your turn. You're thinking about because there's no interrupting. I can't do anything to stop you from doing something once it's your turn. So you have to also have that second level of thought of how am I leaving myself? Can I leave myself anywhere to where you can't mess with me? I think the answer is yes. But as you're getting when you're in after lunch, that yes becomes a question mark starts forming a little bit more. Because and before lunch, we have maybe 1 or 2 tombs and barely can do a whole lot. He's running around the board, so it's it amplifies so much by the second half, but also slows down at the same time. It's
Right,
very
because like in
fascinating.
early game, it's like you have like one use of some of these abilities, and if you don't boost them, you don't get them.
Yeah,
like my best, manifest is like, okay, I start with a boosted one, but if I don't fill it, I don't get any more.
Yeah. And they're gone. Like, if you don't get one in before lunch, then they just go away. So you're hindered by that if you don't actually run out and grab them all. But at the same time, if you're running out to go grab the tomes, you're not affecting.
It's like a distraction. Like you win by getting other people caught, and you're spending your turn grabbing tombs.
Exactly. So, and it's very fascinating with how much you had 7. I think you upgraded your distract. And I'm looking at my board, it's like, man, I could use 3 warps would be disgusting.
Yeah.
3 shifts would be disgusting. 3 distracts would be disgusting. I was very proud of my final turn of the distract of pulling him back 1. And then he was still going to be able to run to the end. It's very good. Do you have any negatives on the game?
Negatives, huh? Well, let's see. Can't say I have a pressing one that was just aggravating me the whole game.
Yeah.
I don't have anything immediately. Maybe if I played a few more games, I'd have something more nailed down.
Yeah.
But like playing other races, I'd have to classes, cliques,
Factions.
Yeah. Seeing
Clicks
how
is a
others,
good one, yeah.
seeing how they play. Like
Yeah.
who knows? There could be one that's fairly broken.
Yeah.
We don't know that yet. But at this time, with the classes we have played, no, I think this is a very good logic, or how would you call it? Abstract strategy. Yeah, I liked it. I enjoyed this game.
Yeah. The only negative I have is the rule
Didn't like the
book.
tiebreaker, though.
Yeah, which I never look at tiebreakers. In fact, because I knew I was ending it, and so I looked at it, and I was like, okay, I got 2. We're both going to be at 7. The game's going to end. All right. And I'm like, what's the tiebreaker? And that's why if you actually watch the run through, you see me look at it, and I was like, that's annoying. Like, I even knew it was going to be shitty just because of the way it played out. Because I never expected a game to end in a tie. But I was like, yeah, I guess that makes sense. But yeah, that's kind of shitty. So yeah, mainly the rulebook it's kind of stupid. So they combined it all into one rulebook, and it's kind of all over the place. Like, you have, because they wanted it to be tiny, so you have like a massive section just on setup, and then it talks about the Tome Keeper. Then it goes into what you do on your turn, and then it goes into a full example thing. So it's like, if you ever need, and then it goes into the different modes to play. So, and then it goes into all the different factions. So it's like, why they could have put the faction stuff on the back.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why they had to put it in the rulebook. Just each faction has the same text, because it's not like it's bloated. Like, this is the same size as the board, so it's like that could have all easily fit onto the
but
back.
that clean little symbol.
What?
The emblem.
Oh, the emblem. Yeah, but it's like, it's the same emblem. It's just a different color. The faction symbol's up at the top. So I think they could have cleaned this up. And whenever you're trying to find very specific rules, especially in an abstract strategy game where rules are key, it's almost impossible. It's like, oh, hey, okay, so what happens? Does he hit the spot and continue his movement if he has it? Because it mentions he does that when he hits the third one in Before Lunch, but it doesn't say anything about the first 2.
Like him, like say, starting on the third space?
No,
or...
well, if he starts on the third space, he completes his goal. But it's like, if he, in the first turn of the Before Lunch, he was able to make it to 1 in like 3 moves. It's like, okay, so does he stop, or does he do his extra 1 and start heading to 2? Which the answer is yes, but you can't find that in here. So this is kind of annoying for me when you need very specific clarifications and they're just not there. Like verbiage or that's just huge in kind of games like this. But I will say there are that's really the only negative I have is kind of the rule book.
Yeah.
Something else that I feel like would probably be annoying for some people, because you have these special abilities and everyone's different in how they do stuff, and it's generally the same. It's like, how do I move other people? How do I move the bookshelves? Everyone move? How do I? That's really the only 2 differences. And then my special ability, then after lunch special. It's like, you do so much on your turn that it's like, man, yeah, I got this set up. All right, this is good. And then you just have to watch your opponent kind of undo everything you did. So it's like, why the fuck did I do any of that then?
Yeah, I mean, they made it very easy to manipulate the board and people. So it was certainly balanced.
Yeah, no, I agree. And that's why it's not really a negative for me personally, because that's kind of an abstract strategy game. You don't get to interrupt what your opponent does. It's like chess. It's like, okay, I'm moving this piece, and then you took it. Well, I couldn't stop you. Well, yeah, no, you can't. So, and I'm just more amazed at just the fact it was still 7-7, and the tomes were... I thought I had like one less than you, because I remember I specifically didn't pick one up in the first, but I also didn't pick one up in the second. So, and what's also very interesting is you use these... So instead of upgrading an ability, you can get your legendary ability back, but then you spend it and that goes away.
Well, you did use your alt, like...
I used it twice.
Twice.
Yeah. Which my alt is, I could have definitely used that a lot better. Like, I should have used my alt in a way to just really pop them into a corner, like way away, so it's like, oh yeah, you're probably going to get him. Nope, pop him out. Because the teleport kind of works in a similar way to your hex thing, where they just can't be moved. But yeah, I think this is great. So the monsters, they have monsters, zombies, vampires, trolls, and ghosts. And apparently the ghosts are supposed to be glow in the dark, but I'm pretty sure they're not. Like, unless you...
Oh, the ghost miniatures.
Yeah.
Oh, cute.
Yeah.
If that is the case.
Yeah, I've tried just kind of putting it, and it's like they don't glow, but it's probably like you have to have like a UV light and like heat it up. But yeah, it's extremely fascinating. I think a tournament of this could be fun, especially with all the different, factions, 7 different factions. I'm not gonna read through everything that they can do. But I know the vampires. The vampires have like they collect 1 blood for every enemy you pass over. At the end of your turn, you may boost 1 die per blood spent. So they could potentially, they like bite you as they run by.
Oh, nasty.
That's their after lunch special. Trolls, once per turn, place troll bookshelf anywhere in the library. Trolls may freely pass through it.
Oh,
so
yeah.
They create extra bookshelves. Zombies, once per turn, drop decay under a zombie. If an enemy enters that space, move them to any adjacent space and remove decay. That's interesting. So it's more hindrance and could potentially cause them to move into the Tomb Keeper.
Yeah.
Monsters, trap adjacent enemy they can't move or on the following turn.
Huh.
God, can you imagine locking him down? It's like, all right, he's moving. He's going to get both of us. And then Ghost, you may spend 2 move actions to move through a bookcase. So those are all the after lunch specials.
Okay.
So yeah, cool. I think this is a lot of fun. And I think all the factions are they feel different. Like they feel similar, but they feel different.
Right. I mean, yeah, you can only change so much.
Yeah.
Versus you're going to have significantly more issues with balance.
Yeah.
The more you complicate it. So I think they kept it at a solid level.
No, I very much agree. So, I mean, I could always hope for more expansions. I think more factions would be cool.
Yeah.
So we'll see what they do. You got anything else?
No. Fun game. Recommend it.
All right. On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give Mythic Mischief?
Oh, for my dueling games. They're fun. Dueling games are fun. So what are the game mods? So we can have up to 4 players.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
There's team modes.
Yeah, that's actually... So they have team mode. So you technically can play 3 players. In this mode, 2 players will be on the team against a 3rd player. The solo player will use all 3 of their mythics, while the teams... Oh, okay, so they have all 3 of theirs, while the teams of 2 have 2 each. So it'd be 3 versus 2, or 3 versus 4.
Wait, what? Oh, so
there's team mode, where it's 2v1.
Oh, okay.
And then there's 4-player mode. Players will break into 2 teams of 2. Each player will play only 2 of their mythics.
Okay, so there's no free-for-all?
There does not seem to be a free-for-all.
Well, that would be utterly ridiculous. Is there another bigger board?
There's another board like this.
Okay. Do you put them together?
You, in Blitz mode, you do.
Okay.
So Blitz is more intense. You will need to use a timer. Each team only has 120 seconds to execute their plan. Then, instead of Mythics returning to the library board after getting caught, they are eliminated from the game. Players play with all 3 of their Mythics. The game is either played with before or after lunch cards only. Choose before for more strategy and after for more chaos. If the Tome Keeper completes 1, a new matching card is drawn. So they have 2-player Blitz. It only uses 1 library board, and 4-player Blitz, where you combine them. If you own the Headmaster box, which I do because I'm cool, you can play 4-player Blitz by placing 2 library boards together side by side.
Nasty.
Each library board gets its own Tomb Keeper, because there's another one in the box, so there's 2 Tomb Keepers.
Oh.
And their own library cards.
Oh, that'd be...
And once they're caught, they're out.
Oh, nasty.
So you have 2 minutes to do your turn.
I mean, when you saw how long we were taking there, it's like... I mean, when you have all this options, yeah, that would significantly decrease
with 4
ones.
boards, and you would have,
That would make it a little more intense. That would make your portals very powerful, though. The bigger
That's
a board,
very
your
true.
portals would be significantly more powerful.
That's true. Especially because it's like, I'd have 2 wizards. Because if you did a 4-player game, it'd be like wizards and ghosts versus... God damn it.
I just need to stop.
It'd be wizards and ghosts versus, like witches and trolls. And so there's 2. God, that would be hectic.
Yeah.
So they do have other modes, and Blitz sounds insane.
It's like if you want to be at each other's throats, just intense.
Because it looks like that's not based off points.
Just elimination.
I think so.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, once all of a team's mythics have been caught, the game ends and the team with remaining mythics wins.
Nice.
If both teams lose their last mythic on the same turn, the team who just took their mythic phase loses, and the other team claims victory.
Nice.
Oh, they actually have a 2-minute video timer on their website. So yeah, that points are out the window for that, and it's just last man standing.
Damn, that's entertaining,
right? And apparently, they're saying that before lunch is for more strategy, and after lunch is more chaos.
I mean, that's where people get their uniques, or another unique ability.
Oh, you're right. Yeah,
so
you're right.
That would less. I mean, your portals would be off the board. And then, I couldn't lock down.
True.
And then, see here, what was it? The ghost couldn't move through library books.
Yep. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So, I like the fact that they have other modes.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Well, as a 1v1, it's not bad. I'm happy to hear that it plays more. I'd be interested to see it in another setting, in that, 4-player or 3-player setting, to see how it holds up.
Yeah.
But as a 1v1 duel, it's not bad. I enjoyed it. I will give it, I mean, it felt pretty good. Good thinky. I'm 8, 9-ish.
Yeah.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's I'll give it a 9. It's a
9?
good game. Yeah, I'll give it a 9.
That's,
not too bad.
That's really impressive, because I remember when we played at Gen Con, you were like,
Yeah.
that actually, speaking of Gen Con.
Well, I understand it now.
That's also
and that
true.
helps.
Yeah. But also at the same time, that is also a negative. That is not a negative really for this game. It is just in this game. In any abstract strategy game, there are going to be instances where you want to be a gentleman and you want to let people do their stuff, but at the same time, if they forget something, it's like, well, I already did stuff. And it's very funny that it happened this time and the time we played it at Gen Con. Because it's like, I don't want to be a dick, but you saw me do a bunch of stuff. So that just be aware that can happen. I mean, that's going to be each of their own house rules of... I feel like it's also more accentuated in a 1v1.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I don't want to be a dick, but I just placed all my stuff. And it's not up to me for anyone to remember anything. So just be aware of everything that you can do. Because that's just something... Because you can also do chess rules where it's like, oh, you let go, they're
That's
there.
true.
But I think in terms, I feel like in this kind of game, that rule would be a little bit too strict because there's so much going on and how you want to move, and then how you might want to move other people or yourself. That it's like, I feel like if it, I don't know, just play it out. But it can show up if.
I mean, if you would want to be super shithead competitive,
which
I don't think, judging by the theme, is this game's goal.
No, I really don't think so. The theme definitely does kind of allude to a lighter game, but it is not. I do like the theme. This is never touched on, where it's like a school, of trying to get spell books. I think that's pretty neat. Also, just something about your character. You never enchanted your own characters.
No, I didn't find an instance where it would be more powerful than moving you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, because, like, that's the only way I can manipulate you. Just like your warp is your way of manipulating me directly. Yeah. So, it's... Like, say if there was an instance where I would want someone to go over, like, I would see... Its strength in moving my own characters is that I get to ignore moving onto books. So, if I needed to get through a book... Yeah. That would be a strong way to move through them, an efficient way to move through them. Yeah. But that didn't come up for me.
Okay. Yeah. I wonder if it'd also be a good use of saving someone if you think they're going to be in the way, that you could, like, warp them.
I mean, yeah, if I had, like, consumed my movement at that point.
Yeah.
Because it's just essentially it's more movement with more steps.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah, and I think... Nope, never mind. I was going to say, I think everyone's stats are the same, but they are not. Like, the ghosts can go up to a 4 for their possess.
Yeah.
They're 5, 3, 3, 3. They're the same.
What was your move max?
5.
5, yeah. Okay. That's probably
5,
safe
3,
for
3,
everybody.
3. 5, 4, 2, 3 for the trolls, and 5... So, on average, it's 5, 3, 3 with a few characters having a little bit different max stats. But that's rough. That is... Like, if you're maxing out, like, a stat, you put all your tombs in that.
Right.
Besides movement's the only difference. But that would be... I mean, it'd be gross.
I mean, when you get all the boosts, I mean, you don't have to. I mean, I guess if you were like, okay, this turn I really want to use my fucking enchant, crank it to the max.
And I like that. I like how if you miss out on a tomb or two, you're not like, well, my game's over. You know, I can't do it.
Like, there were several turns that I took that I was like, well, I have 4 movement left.
Yeah.
3 movement left. I'm like, I guess I didn't need to boost it.
Right.
And it's like, I could have done another enchant, another manifest. But, so,
yeah,
things to consider.
When it happened, I was kind of annoyed that the after lunch, it was like, hey, free tomb. It's like, all right. But knowing the tiebreaker, it's like, damn it. Like, I didn't, what if it ends in a tie, and now I have more? So yeah, I think I'm also going to give it a 9. Like, I think 8 for gameplay, but because it's actually an abstract strategy with a good theme, I think I'm gonna bump that up.
Yeah.
Like, this is very, very good and very balanced. So I like that, and I like how everyone feels unique, but not so unique that it's like, well, I just can't compete with that. And a lot of really good turns. This feels more of like a very, like, I don't know, gentlemanly back and forth. Because whenever you used you finally used your ultimate and moved it, because I was like, oh shit, he's gonna get 2. How the fuck did he get 2? I wonder though if someone gets 3, if they pop and get all of them, if that's too much to try and come back from.
Yeah, it'd be rough. I mean, you definitely have to use a little bit of distract there, kind of like what you did, moving backwards.
Yeah.
And filter out the other 2, so then when he jets forward, because it's like just moving all 3 of them in a perfect line where he's going to go.
I know.
Very difficult.
Which is almost impossible since you locked her in the corner.
Yes.
That it's like, well, I can't get that, but man, that would have been nasty if you were able to get all 3 in the corner and he beelines it. It's like, damn, I lost. So yeah, 9 out of 10 for both of us on Mythic Mischief. Let us know what you think of the game in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.